Hey, hey, hey. Hey, how y'all doing? What is it? What today is, y'all? Thursday. Happy Thursday. I've been live every day this week. It's been so much going on out here. I've had some people already sitting in the chat. Hey, Mojo. Hey, Sarah, how y'all doing? Y'all know what I like. Y'all drop a heart in the comments for me. Drop a heart in the chat just to let me know that y'all are up in here. Before I get started, we're going to talk about the new changes that might take place before the summer is out, dealing with the FICO score. Hello, Loretta. I appreciate the heart and I appreciate the love. Thank you so much. Hey, Brittany, I appreciate all the hearts. Look, she gave me a whole rainbow of hearts. I love it. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. I do. I hope you guys also looked at my live from yesterday where I talked about the Cash App claims. If you have had any problems with Cash Apps with fraudulent transactions since August the 23rd of 2018, make sure that you go back on my channel and check out that live from last night. There's some more information. I also talked about car shields scamming people with warranties. I talked about that. I want to say Tuesday night. And I talked about something else, Lord. I've been talking about so much. Mississippi in the building. All right. Crooked letter, crooked letter. Humpback, humpback. Honey, what's up, Tommy? I appreciate the love. Y'all let me know where y'all from, too. I like to know where a lot of the people that view me are from. I'm in South Carolina. I'm in South Carolina. I'm not going to hold y'all up. Let's see where we at. Hey, Sean. How you doing? I appreciate the love. I appreciate the love. I'm gonna see how many more we're gonna get in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get in. I'm not gonna hold you long, like the pastor say. I ain't gonna hold you long. I ain't gonna be before you long. Houston, Texas, in the house. All the southern states. I'm South Carolina. Got some Mississippi in the house. Got some Houston, Texas in the house. What else? What else? Where we at? Oh, let's go up north to what is that? Ontario, Canada. All right, let's go. Let's go. That's what's up. I appreciate all the love. So let's go ahead and let's get ready to get into this. I got an article I'm gonna pull up. Jacksonville, Florida in the house. Jacksonville Stacker is in the house. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all joining me this afternoon. I've been enjoying doing these lives every night so far this week. I said I was going to try something different, and I've been liking it. I've been liking it coming on here and talking with my people and letting y'all know what's going on out here in these financial streets, because it's always stuff going on. It's always something going on. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and let's get into today's content. Every time I say I'm going to get into content, somebody else pop up in the chat. Arizona in the building. Sandra. I hope I'm saying it right. Hope I ain't tearing it up. We got Montgomery, Alabama in the building. Miss Natural Curves 1973. I love it. Thank y'all so much for tuning in this afternoon. Evening. Thank you for tuning in this evening. Thank y'all so much. Let's go ahead and let me pull up this. See, every time I say that, I'm going to stop saying I'm finna pull up then. We got Warner Robins, Georgia. I've never even heard of that before. Just a Vessel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I never even heard of that. Where is that? I'm in South Carolina, so how far is that from Atlanta? I've never heard of that before. So how far is that from Atlanta? I am curious to know, how far is that from ATL? All right, guys, let's get on into this. Now, All right, guys. So I got up the screen of the article that I am about to read. All right, so we got Macon, Georgia. Okay, right below Macon, Georgia. Okay, I've heard of Macon, Georgia. Okay. What part of South Carolina am I in? I'm in Greenwood, South Carolina. So it's about an hour away from Greenville, about 2 hours away from Columbia, South Carolina. We also got California up in the building. Say about an hour and a half south of the airport. Okay. All right. We got Minnesota up in there. Patricia, thank you so much for joining me. Houston, Texas again. Sassy. All right. Y'all up in here all over the place today. Y'all are all over the place. I love it. I love it. We got a little bit of everybody up in here today. We got going all the way up north to Canada and all the way west. So far, we done got all the way west to California. We even got some Arizona up in the building. That's what's up. Got Utah in the building. Kansas City, Missouri up in here. Rochester, New York up in here. Y'all is up in here. I love it. Thank y'all so much for all the love. I appreciate it. Y'all just don't know. I've been trying to grow this channel for 2 years, so y'all just don't know how I am so grateful for each and every last one of you. I really am grateful. So let's get on into this content real quick, okay? And then I'm going to come back into the chat for any questions and anything else y'all want to talk about before I get off. But let me go ahead and get into the content, and I will definitely be back in here to shout you guys out and answer any other questions. I really do appreciate it. So let me go ahead. All right, so let me give y'all a caveat. This is an updated newsletter right here that was posted by CNBC. So this is a update from a previous newsletter that they had put out on the website. So it says, bad news, the new FICO score changes could impact the credit cards you qualify for. The FICO 10 scoring model is slated for a summer release and could cause your credit score to drop 20 points at the model looks at past debt and balances. Now, this is updated as of July the 25th of 2024. So when I start reading the first part of this article, I don't want you to think that I'm crazy, but whenever somebody goes back and update an article on any of these platforms, these blogs, sometimes they don't do a good job with editing. And y'all going to find that out when I start reading this, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. So it says, if you've been carrying credit card debt, you can see a drop in your credit score soon. Okay, let's get on up here. So right here, this is the part that I'm talking about where they didn't do a good job where they did the update on this blog post. Okay, so let's get it right here. This article. It says Fair Isaac Corporation, the creator of FICO score. So that's how we get the name FICO, from the Fair Isaac Corporation, announced today, January 23rd, the new FICO 10 model. So when they talk about January 23rd, they're probably talking about earlier this year. Okay. The new FICO 10 model, which is expected to cause scores to fluctuate roughly 20 points. This change comes on the heels of the average FICO score hitting a record high of 703 earlier this month. So this, like I said, this is talking about the earlier part of this year, 2024, okay? The new credit scoring model will be calculated to incorporate consumers' account balances for the previous 24 plus months, which is bad news for anyone that's carrying a balance month to month. These changes are expected to widen the gap between people with good credit scores that range between 670 to 739 and those with bad credit scores. Those are scores that are below 580. Okay. These consumers, excuse me, these consumers with recent delinquencies or high utilization are likely going to see a downward shift. And depending on the severity and recency of the delinquency, it could be significant, says Dave Schellenberger, FICO VP of Product Management says. Now, this is a dude from actual FICO. He works for the people that create the FICO score, right? FICO estimate that roughly 110 million consumers will see a change to their credit score once the new model is in effect later this summer. So we're all right, August the 8th. So this article came out July the 25th, right? The updated article came out July the 25th. This was originally posted back in January. Approximately 40 million consumers will see a shift upward over 20 points, and another 40 million will see a shift downward 20 points, okay? Anywhere within 20 points, okay? This isn't consumer unfriendly. John Alzheimer, I hope I'm the Alzheimer. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Alzheimer, that's what it sounds like. An expert on credit scores and credit scoring tells Select. Now, Select is CNB Select. People with good credit are going to score higher with newer models. People who have elevated risk are going to score lower. That's always what you see in a newly developed model when you compare score distributions to older models. Okay? So this isn't nothing new. A good credit score is a key to qualifying for competitive rewards like the American Express Gold Card. You know, we know all that. They make it worthwhile to have a score above 670. All right. So I'm not going to go down here where it says how to improve your credit score, because a lot of it is just trying to get you to get this Citi Simplicity card. So basically, a lot of this advertisement right here is trying to get you to apply for this card, which clicking on this link will probably give this website or this particular portion of the blog some kickback if we were to apply for that. But I just want to talk about the changes that, like it says, that may take effect right now. We're in the later part of the summer. We have kind of crossed over that threshold now since we're into August. Next month, September, we know around what the 21st, 22nd or whatever of September, it'll be in the fall. So this could take place anytime now, depending on the lender. But I do have some good news at the end of all this in this article, right? Because I'm not going to be the bearer of just bad news. I don't do that. So let me go ahead and get this article off the screen. And I'm also going to put this article in the description box if y'all want to read it yourself. But before I get into the into what's going on, what's some of the things that you could do to make sure that you're favorable if you are shopping for credit in different areas of credit. But before I do that, let me see who I did not shout out. So we got Adina Collins up in here from Dallas, Texas. So Dallas, Texas in the house. We got another Dallas, Texas from Bishop Blueprint. I appreciate y'all. We got Jackson, Mississippi up in here. Bells ringing, keys of knowledge of Enoch. Okay, I like the name. We got who else up in here? XD Red, we love you too, Star. Thank you for doing what you do. Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being so kind and so sweet to me. Thank y'all so much. All right, y'all keep letting me know where y'all are from up in here. All right, so as I was saying, that article that we were just looking at was from back in January. Let me tell you something right now. FICO 10 and FICO 10T, which this article was referenced to, has been around since December 6th of 2020. Okay. So it's not new news, right? It's not new news. If that's a word. It's not new news. So it's been around since December 6th, December 7th of 2020. And it was made available to all three credit bureaus at that time. So this is not new news. I know that sounds so crazy. Y'all let me know how crazy that sounds. But this is the newest FICO model. So we already know that there's several FICO models that go out there, that's out there right now that lenders use, with FICO 8 being the most used model of the FICO models and versions that they have released. FICO 8, which came out in 2009. So it's a very old version because they got FICO 9. FICO 9 is it's being used too, but FICO 8 is the most used of all the versions of the FICO models that they release. And they usually release these things every 5 years. So like I said, FICO 8 that most people use now has been out since 2009, and we already got a FICO 9, and FICO 10 and 10T suite came out in 2020. So we're in 2024. So it's roughly around 4 years old already. Now, the FICO 10, let me give you some, woo sigh type of moment, make you feel all right. If you are worried about these changes, if they do take effect when it comes to Pacific lenders, is that this model, FICO 10, not 10T, but FICO 10, will still be looked at and kind of weighed similar to the other versions, where it means, where it comes down to reason codes. So what I mean by reason codes is when you're denied for credit, say you apply for a credit card or a personal loan, a car loan, a mortgage, or whatever you apply for and you were denied, there's usually a letter that comes to you or an email, just depends on how you applied for these things, that's going to be called an adverse action. And in that adverse action is going to be some reasons why they denied you. And those reasons have codes assigned to them. So it could be code 16, too many recent credit accounts. I'm not saying that that's the code, but just giving you an example. So it could be number 14, delinquent accounts or something. So all those different reasons why they deny you credit, there's a reason code associated with each one of those, right? So when a lender denies you, they go in and they put those reason codes in, and therefore when you get the letter that I say is called an adverse action letter, when you get that letter, the letter has to tell you why they did not grant you whatever credit you was applying for. And also you are supposed to be able to get a free credit report to whatever agency that gave them that information. So whether it was TransUnion, Equifax, what's the other one? Experian. Had draw the blank for a second. Experian, whatever 3 bureaus they got it from, or even if it was a Novus, some of the other, consumer reporting agencies, not just the big 3, but there's other ones as well. The smaller ones, like say if you got denied for a apartment, they might have pulled your personal profile from like court records and stuff like that or whatever, just, background checks, all those different things. Either way, they're supposed to give you a reason why they denied you for whatever it is that they denied you, and give you a free report showing what it is that's on your credit report so that you can address whatever issue it could have been, because it could be fraud. The reason why they denied you, it could have been something on your credit report that you had no idea that was on your credit report. So that's why it's very important that we are checking our credit reports, our detailed credit report on annualcreditreport.com. I did a video about it. I'm going to link it after this is over with, so that you are staying up on what's going on your detailed credit report, not just checking your credit report in the app on Credit Karma and some of the other ones, but actually checking your detailed credit report page by page, line by line, to make sure that everything is aligned. But if you are denied for credit, you are supposed to get one of those. So with FICO 10, they're going to be still using the same reason codes as the other previous versions of FICO. That's a good thing. And why is that a good thing? It's because it costs lenders to change and upgrade these systems. It costs them money. And these systems are very expensive because FICO is a business at the end of the day. I did a video a long time ago and telling you banks are a business, FICO is a business, the credit bureaus are a business. All these people are a business at the end of the day. And the credit bureaus do not own FICO. So every time a lender, like say I'm the Bank of Star, I choose to use Experian to get my credit report. So I have to pay Experian every time I want to pull your credit profile. It's not free to the bank to pull your credit profile. So every time I pull your credit profile, I'm actually making an order. I'm ordering your credit, right? You're giving me permission to order your credit. Now, I don't know what that dollar amount looks like, but that's what a bank does. So the Bank of Star would be ordering your credit report from Experian. Well, guess what? Experian does not own the FICO score. So if I want your FICO score, I have to place an order for it. So what Experian is going to do, Experian is going to place the order for me. So Experian is going to place the order through FICO, but guess what? Experian's got to pay FICO. Okay, it's not free. These are different businesses. So FICO and Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, those are four different businesses. They're four different businesses. That's how you can have three different credit bureaus and they'd be reporting three different things. Because it depends on who your lender uses. Some lenders report to all three credit bureaus, and then you might have a lender that might only report to one because you have to pay for it. It's not free. It's not free. These are businesses, okay? So with the FICO 10, just a regular FICO 10 model, it will still use the same reason codes as the previous versions, which will make it easier for the lenders to implement, because now they don't have to change a lot of their own reason codes when they deny a customer. Because at the end of the day, they're going to try to make it where they don't have to spend more money on these models. It's kind of like our phones, right? I have an iPhone. Every September, no fail, iPhone is going to come out with a new version. They're at iPhone 15 now. I guarantee next month they're going to come out with a new version, whether it's 16 or they're going to skip to 20. Who knows, right? But if you could continue to keep the same phone that I have, which I got the 13, so I'm like 2 models behind, I could continue to use the 13 and see if they're going to give me the same updates as the newer model. And so that's what a lot of these lenders have been doing. That's why a lot of them are still with FICO 8, because they're keeping FICO 8 as long as FICO, Fair Isaac Corporation, is updating it. And as long as it's giving still accurate information, they're going to keep using it, just like you will your phone. As long as your phone is still updating and giving you accurate information, you're going to keep using the old phone. Now, if FICO, for whatever reason, like some of these phone companies were to just be like, okay, we're no longer going to support FICO 8, FICO 9, you have to go to FICO 10 because we're no longer supporting those versions, then now they have no choice. They have to do it. Okay, they have to upgrade. They have to do it. Just like with your phone. If iPhone was to tell me what Apple was to say right now, we're no longer supporting the iPhone 13 Pro. You got to get the new iPhone that's coming out next month because we're no longer going to be updating that phone. That means my apps won't work. Security will be low because if they're no longer updating, I probably won't be getting any more security patches on the phone, any of the bug fixes. Y'all know how those updates do. So I will not be getting any of those things going forward. So if FICO 10 still stays with the same reason codes and some of the other data from the previous version, then that lets the lender have a choice. They be like, okay, well, FICO 8 is still doing good for me. FICO 9, if they use FICO 9, it's still doing good for me. I don't necessarily need to go to FICO 10 unless they make me, because it's going to cost them money to do a software upgrade, right? But if it's still going to be the same reason codes and still going to be the same thing, basically just some little different changes like the trending data, but that's 10T. But if it's going to be looking back 24 months and all that stuff, they may. But a lot of people, a lot of the lenders are probably going to be like, it's not necessary right now. Okay. So I don't see a lot of the lenders actually going to this specific model unless they really and truly have to. A lot of them been using FICO 8 since 2009. FICO 9 been around. I forgot what year FICO 9 came out. But it's been around and it's still not widely used. So I'm not really worried about FICO 10 being a really big issue because, like I said, it's all about upgrading and updating, you know. So with that also being said, in 2022, I got my notes right here. In October 2022, the Federal Housing Finance Agency approved the use of FICO 10T and Vantage 4.0 by government-sponsored enterprises, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So those are the big mortgage lenders, okay? Those are the big dogs when it comes to the mortgages. Now, let's talk about FICO 10T. Because FICO 10 and FICO 10T are different, okay? 10T, the T stands for trended data, okay? And what is this trended data? This trended data is going to be looking at your financial behavior the past 24 months. So basically what that article was that I just looked at with you guys, it's saying that if you carried a credit card balance, say you was carrying a credit card balance, will be in 2024. Say you was carrying a credit card balance in August of 2022. And with FICO 10T, it's going to be able to tell when you was carrying a credit card balance. And say you carried that credit card balance all the way from August of 2022 all the way through June of 2023. But you paid it off, right? You paid it off. It can still go back to August of 2022 because that's 24 months from now and see when you was carrying a balance or when your card was maxed out. So that is going to possibly tank your credit score to 20 points that we're talking about because it's going back trended data. This is the 10T. Now, this is the one that can cause the problem. It's not necessary the 10, the FICO 10, because I was saying it still calculate some codes like the older versions, but the 10T is the one that is more looking at your financial habits, okay? Because we know when you're playing with the credit card game, as I call it, you can play with that utilization, right? That 30% utilization, and with the FICO 8 and the FICO 9 model, right? It looks at that a different way. Because now, if I was to max out my credit card, as long as I pay it down by the statement date, right? As long as I pay it down by the statement date that it don't report to the credit bureau, then there's no issue, right? But say if I did max it out and I did let it report to the credit bureau, say I'm on vacation. Let's say I'm on vacation and I take my credit card that's, say it's got $2,000 limit. And when I get there, I have some incidentals that I need to pay that I didn't, that I wasn't planning for, right? And I have to max that credit card out to pay those incidentals. And I'm still on vacation and I don't so happen to get back to paying it off or back wherever I am to pay it off before the statement actually reports to the credit bureau. With the FICO 10T model, that can tank my credit score. With the FICO 8 model, it can tank it for a short period of time, but if I pay it right back off by the next statement and the statement sees that I paid it back off on that next time, right, it's going to go back up. It may not go back up the same amount of points it dropped, but the first month it's going to go back up. The second month it's going to go back up some more. It's going to keep going back up until I'm going to regain those points. With this 10T model, it's going to track it back and it's going to hold it down because it's saying, I know you carry a balance. I know you carry a balance. You're not fooling me. I know you carry a balance. Okay. You can, it's hard. It's going to be harder to pay the credit card utilization game with the FICO 10T because, like I said, it goes all the way back. It's not like the FICO 8 models, they don't have a memory. The more you get away from the thing or the occurrence of whatever you've done, the less impact it has on your credit score with the current versions. But the 10T version is not as forgiving. So what I mean by occurrence, so say you had a late payment last month on your credit card in June. I mean, where we at August, and just say June, okay? So you had a late payment back in June, right? It hit 30 days. 30 days is not bad, but it hit 30 days. So you got a little ding on your payment history, right? With the models that we're in now, 2 years from now, you will be done rebounded from that late payment. With the model we have now, FICO 8, 9, and even the 10 version probably wouldn't be as severe. But with this new version that we have right now, with the 10T, you can have late payment in June of 2024, and in June of 2026, it can still be a problem because of the trended data that's going to go back 24 months. So you could be sitting in the loan officers in their office about to try to get a mortgage, and what happened in June of 2024 could be a factor in June of 2026 with the 10T because of the 24-month trended data that they're going to go all the way back. You might not ever miss the payment ever again. It could have been an easy mistake. You could have easily just been like, oh man, I thought I had this set up on auto pay and I forgot. Okay, it could have been something as easy as that. The 10T model is not going to be as forgiving as the other models. So that's the problem. That's the problem. Okay. So the 10T basically is predicting more risk and trying to help the lenders lower their risk. Because now you're not going to be able to hide behind your utilization. You're not going to be able to finagle it like you do with these current models. Okay. So it's going to give lenders more insight into how someone handles their actual finances. Okay. Because think about this, guys. When it comes to your finance, we all know that the credit profile does not take into consideration what you have in your account at your bank, what you have in savings, what you have in your 401k, what you have in your investments. It doesn't take into account none of that because it's not factored into your credit score. But what is factored into your credit score is your payment history, your utilization. Okay. The two big things, payment history and payment utilization, right? So if you have money in your account, savings, checking, money market, whatever, why would you miss payments all the time? You might have one time you might miss payment. Like I said, everybody make mistakes. You might forget. You might didn't have it on auto pay, whatever. So you allow one. That's how I look at it. But if you're constantly missing payments, that screams you might be in financial troubles. If you carry a high balance with your credit cards maxed out all the time, that could scream that you're living off your credit, that you are living off your credit cards. Okay. If you are applying for a lot of loans, personal loans, it doesn't matter, finance company loans, which are the worst ones to ever have on your credit report, or finance company loans, payday loans, any of those type of loans, because they look like you have bad credit. Those things right there, FICO 10T is going to eat you alive, because now it's going to continue to haunt you even after you get things back on track. So say you were living off your credit card because, inflation is high, but our money ain't going up, right? Gas is high, but our money ain't going up. Groceries is high, money ain't going up. Rent's high, our money ain't going up. So you might have to use your credit card, or you might get a personal loan to kind of bridge that gap, right? Or circumstances in life might cause you to have a late payment or two that hits 30 days and it actually reports. FICO 10T is not going to be forgiving of that. That thing going to haunt you 2 years later. and you might have got everything on track. Okay. It's kind of like it makes me feel like Capital One, where it puts you in the bucket and you be like, darn, I done got everything on track, but I'm still being penalized from what I did 2 years ago. This is what the FICO 10T does. And not only FICO 10T, but Vantage 4.0 too. Now I know a lot of people like, well, I'm about to use Vantage. You got to understand, back in October 2022, when Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the big mortgage people, when they implemented and said it is cool to do the FICO 10T, they also said it's cool to do the Vantage 4.0. Now, who creates the Vantage scores? We're going to go back to what I was talking about, these businesses. Who creates the Vantage scores? The big three credit bureaus. That's who owns the Vantage scores. That's how you get them for free. Because the Vantage scores are by the credit bureaus. It's by TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Because they don't own FICO. FICO is a whole nother business that these three credit bureaus have to pay. So they trying to cut out FICO with the Vantage score. But as I was just telling you guys, the reason why Vantage has not taken off, that's why you can have the Vantage 3.0 all day long with Credit Karma and some of your other credit cards that give it to you for free, like Capital One give you the Vantage score, your TransUnion Vantage score. I think Navy Fed does too. You know, they can give you that score all day long. You want to know why? Because these lenders have had FICO as their lending solution for decades. Okay. And it costs money to change. Just like I was telling you about these phones upgrades. It's the same thing with these models. People that's been using FICO since 1989. Okay, you got banks that's been using FICO. They're not going to jump onto the Vantage score and have to pay money to redo all of their systems. So that's why Vantage has not taken off. So we're talking about FICO 10T. Unless they are made to do it, I don't see FICO 10T becoming a major issue, even though the mortgage is saying that they can use it. Right now, mortgages are still using FICO 2, 4, and 5. That's what they're using. FICO 2, that's a version. FICO 4, that's a version. FICO 5, that's a version. Those are old versions, but they're still using those. Most mortgage lenders are still pulling those. So you can have FICO 10, you can have Vantage 4.0, but unless they are made to use those for mortgages, they're not going to do it because it's going to cost them money, because 10T is really a new model. It scores differently. It has different reason codes, as I was just telling you guys. So the reason code for a denial is going to be different than all the previous versions, which is going to cost the lenders money. And at the end of the day, they're not in it to lose money. They're in it to make money. And they know that it costs them every time they have to pull your credit report. But they know they're going to get it back because of interest. Whatever you're borrowing, especially if it's a loan, car loan, personal loan, student loan, whatever type of loan, mortgage loan, 30 years on the mortgage, right? So they know they're going to get it back. So that's why they don't mind paying these credit bureaus and getting these FICO scores, because, excuse me, they know they're going to get it back. Excuse me. So that's why Vantage hadn't took off. The credit bureaus, they tried it. I'm mad at them. Mad at them for coming up with the Vantage score, because what would you do if you are the credit bureau that keeps all the consumer profiles, but yet you got to order the credit score from another company? Well, of course you want to cut out the middleman. That makes sense, okay? But they can't, because unless they give lenders an incentive to switch over to Vantage, they're not going to do it, because it costs a lot of money to implement these FICO versions. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not cheap. Okay? Because it's just like anything else. It's an investment. FICO know if I charge this financial institution $1 million for them, I'm not saying that's how much it costs, but if I charge this financial institution $1 million to put FICO into their lending model, right? The people gonna try to hold on to that as long as possible, but they know they're gonna pay it because they got to lend money. And at the end of the day, they're gonna make that back over time. They're gonna make that $1,000,000 back, right? Through customers paying interest on their loans or carrying a balance on their credit cards with 20% interest rates on the credit cards, right? Or them real terrible cards with 30% interest rates. You know what I'm saying? So they know they're gonna make their money back. So that's why FICO can, just like the iPhones, if you use your phone for business, you're going to get a newer version because you're going to make it back if it does everything that you need it to do. You'll pay it 10 times if you know it's going to make you 10 times that money, or if you're going to 10x the amount you paid. So if you paid 1,000, you're going to make a 10,000 from it. You're going to pay it all day long. Okay. Even though it might be a lot of money up front, but you're going to make it back plus some. So Vantage, the three big credit bureaus, is going to have to give the banks, the lenders of all kind, because even the smaller institutions, the credit unions and all those, everybody use FICO. It's only a handful of people that use Vantage. I heard Synchrony Bank is using Vantage 3.0. I don't know. I don't have anything. No. I do have one card with Synchrony, and that's my Amazon store card. The first card I got way back years ago when I couldn't qualify for the Amazon Prime card through Chase. So I still have my Amazon store card, and it's through Synchrony. But that's the only one that I have that I think. And I got that way back years ago, like well over probably like 15 years ago. So it's a really old card. So y'all let me know if anybody in the chat has used a Synchrony recently, and do they pull Vantage? But I heard that that's who they pull. All right. So I got some more notes. Hold on, I'll make sure I'm staying on track with everything, because I got everything down on my notepad up here on my screen. All right. So FICO 10. Let's go over what we learned so far. FICO 10. Your score could drop if, number one, you took out a consolidation loan for credit card bills, but now the cards are up again, or you have applied for more credit. So you could get a consolidation loan, like say you got a bunch of maxed out cards and the minimum payments are drowning you. So you get a consolidation loan through your bank or your credit union, right? And they pay those cards off. And you still have the cards because you didn't close the accounts out. And it's not a good thing to close those accounts out. But instead of you like turning those cards into sock drawer cards, you ran them back up again. That's what you did. So now you got a consolidation loan. And whenever you consolidated those credit cards, those balances went to zero. So then you got on your credit profile a new loan and credit cards going to zero, reporting at the same time. FICO 10T is going to correlate that to you got that loan to pay these cards off. All right. That's what FICO 10T is programmed to know. Right. And then what's going to happen is if you run those cards back up, your credit score is going to really take a hit because of the trended data. Okay. That's one thing. Number two, if you're using your cards and you're living off your cards, as I was saying before, because of all the things that's going on right now in the economy, and you're having to use your cards right now to bridge your income gap because everything is up, but the income is still low, those balances aren't coming down. That's going to be a part of your trended data. That's going to be a part of your credit utilization. 10T is going to punish you for that. Number three, you have missed payments. The penalty for going 30 days past due will be even harsher than under any of the previous FICO models with 10T because of the trended data. And like I said, this could follow you for a long time now because they're going to be tracking this for 2 years. Okay. So let's see what's going on in the chat before I go on to what you can do now. If this is implemented, what can you do now? We're going to talk about that in a second. Let me see what's going on in the chat before we get to that real quick. My baby in here. Hi, Nikki. Good evening. All right. That's my love. All right. And let's see. Little Miss Lady Angela is from North Carolina. What's up, North Carolina? If you still in the chat, I appreciate you. C. Bill from Florida, I appreciate you being up in here. We got ATL, JRB, I appreciate you. Who else we got? Marjorie Lemons, good information shared. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Let's see. Loretta Street 10T is penalizing people. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, it is. It is penalizing people if it's implemented. Okay. Right now, and like I said, it's been out since December of 2020. All three credit bureaus have had access to this since 2020. We're in 2024. Okay. It still is not implemented. Now, that article that I read said that it can, it may dance around in a couple of lenders. So it's a possible thing. That's why I'm bringing it to y'all, that it could change at any time. But right now, I still feel like if it's not necessary, they're not going to do it. Just like I was talking, just with the phone example. If your phone still work fine and if it's still going to be updated, they're not going to do it if it's going to cost them more money. They're not. Unless it's absolutely necessary. All right, let's go back. Okay, so we got JRB say outlaw 10T. Well, it's just like everything else. It's going to be updates. There's going to be new versions, just like our phones, just like everything else. As soon as you buy a computer, they got a new one already being made. So you're going to always be out of date. Okay, you're going to always be out of date with something. Okay, no doubt. All right, Marjorie says, this is so egregious. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right, especially when you're trying to keep your credit score in the 800s. Now, I'm gonna talk about what you could do in just a little bit. All right. Somebody at her, Marjorie said, I'm trying to get to 700, laugh out loud. All right. And it said, I understand 100. I think it's just another system that keep us from getting equal toes to toes. I got you. It says Star. So what would happen to new homeowners as they purchase their first home with the new FICO changes? Well, same thing. If these lenders go away from the FICO 2, 4, and 5 that the mortgage companies are using right now, and they haven't changed it forever and a day. And if they did decide to use the FICO 10 and or even the Vantage 4.0 that uses the trended data, it's going to hurt. To me, it's going to hurt people that can get a mortgage or slide in with a mortgage with a 680. Okay. Because it's going to make lending more stricter, because they're going to be able to see what you've done in the past, and that's going to make them even more leery in the climate that we're in right now with the interest rates being high. Because in 2020 interest rates on mortgages were like 3%. Now, I got a notification from the Wall Street Journal saying that now mortgages has been. Today, it was like the lowest it's been in 15 months at 6.75. So I feel like it's just going to make things a little bit stricter in an already crashing housing market, because you got people that want to buy, but there's people can't afford it right now. It's just too expensive, right? So it's just going to not be good for either one, because lenders need to lend. They got to make money off the interest, But if you got these models like 10T and 4.0 that's going to be looking at trended data from 2 years ago, it's going to really be up to the lender to be like, well, am I going to be forgiven, or am I going to look at this and penalize them for it now? It's really going to go down to the lender with that. Ohio is in the house. All right. It says, I think when the interest rate drop down, they're going to really push 10T. I can see that. I can see that, because that's what I was just saying. With the interest rate being the way they are right now, these people are not buying houses. And you got to understand, from a lending standpoint, That's where banks make a lot of their money, especially the banks that are lending. You got 30 years with a mortgage. So that's 30 years of guaranteed interest. And how many years are you going to be making a mortgage payment before you even hit the principal? Unless you're paying extra. Okay. That's the only way you're going to hit the principal. You got to pay extra. You can't pay, if your mortgage is $1,000 and you pay just that $1,000, well, it's set up in the what is it, automation. It's set up for it to go out 30 years. So if you look at that automation table and you start with the current, whatever your starting balance is, it'll break down how long it's going to take you before you even start hitting the principal part. Because right now you're still hitting interest. You're going to be hitting interest for some years, right? So I feel like once they get these interest rates down so that people can afford to even buy a home, in a home that that's decent, because now $200,000 can't get you a decent home, and depending on where you live at. Like where I live, it's kind of a retirement village to me. Where I live, it's a lot of older people that come here because we're not that far from Augusta, Georgia, where the Masters is hosted every year, and so it's so many different like golfing things. Like I said, it's really like a retirement village for older people that got some change, right? I feel like people are not able to buy homes in certain areas, especially if you live in an area that's kind of got a lot of, risky like people, So where I live at, $200,000 is not enough to get you a nice home. It'll probably be a fixer upper where I'm at. You are very welcome. NJ is ridiculous. So now that we talked about all those things that FICO 10T can factor, let's talk about what you can do now if FICO 10T is implemented in the near future, or say if they are forced to go to 10T. Say if FICO says, well, I'm no longer updating FICO 8, we're no longer updating FICO 9 because they see these banks are not moving. They're not upgrading. It's like you having your iPhone or Android or whatever, and you still got the same phone for 7 years. And eventually they say, well, we're no longer going to be updating that version, as I talked about earlier. So say if FICO says we're no longer going to be updating FICO 8. So if you continue to use FICO 8, it's going to be an outdated version. You're not going to be getting accurate FICO scores. You're not going to be getting accurate lending scores if you continue to use those older models. So if they're forced to do it, this is what you need to be doing right now. So number one, and I can't stress this enough, I've said this several times in other videos when I talk about building your credit and all those things. I even did a breakdown video kind of like this. I feel like this is a masterclass at this point. But I did a breakdown video telling you exactly what the lenders are looking for from the banking standpoint, because if you're not new to my channel, I used to work in banking. I worked in banking for 15 years, so I've seen it on both sides of the fence, okay? So number one, and the most important thing, especially if FICO 10T is implemented, is that you pay your bills on time. Okay, that's number one. That's number one even now with FICO 8 and 9 and all the rest of them. Please pay your bills on time. And if you can't pay your bills on time, be in constant communication with your creditors. Let them know way before you hit the 30-day mark that you're not able to make your payment. Don't ignore the call. Talk to the people as soon as you know that you may be late, okay? Because a lot of times they can help you if they know what's going on. But if you don't call them, or if you wait until 30 days has already passed and they've already tried to send you a notice or whatever, and you just been ignoring it, don't ignore it. Talk to them, because if you do that, then they don't know. So therefore they can't help you. It's like when you get a late payment and now you want to call the lender, after you're trying to get your credit on track, or you're trying to rebuild your credit, or doing your own self credit repair, and then now you want to contact them about removing the late payment, it's easier to be proactive. It's easier for you to try to stop it before they actually report it than to do it afterwards. Okay. So don't let things go out of control before you try to fix it. Okay. That's number one. So pay your bills on time. And if you're not able, for whatever reason, income, lost a job, whatever, stay in constant communication with those lenders. It will make life so much more easier for you if you do. So when your situation does turn around, then you don't have this trending data from when you weren't able. So always be in constant communication, because when you're in constant communication, they can possibly help you not have a late payment showing up on your credit profile. Okay. Number 2, keep the credit card balances low. Better yet, pay the balances off every month. Okay. That's what you need to do. And if you can't pay the balances off every month, pay them more often. Okay. Pay it more often. If your balance is due on a day and you don't get paid till after that day, then you might need to pay more often to keep the utilization low. Okay. Because one thing about credit card companies, we counting on them just reporting to the credit bureau on the statement day, but there's credit cards out there that can report at any time they want to. Okay. We're taking for granted that they're going to report only on the statement date. That's what we preach all the time. As long as you pay it down before the statement date, that's when it's actually reported. But really and truly, the credit card companies can report your balance at any time they want to. And we're taking it for granted that they won't do it. There are credit card companies that will report whenever they want to. Okay. And you got to understand too that there's credit card companies that's looking at the other credit card companies that you have accounts with. I talked about this too in a video before, that there's something in your terms and conditions that's called penalty interest that a lot of people don't pay attention. It's called penalty interest. If, say, I have a card with American Express and I have a card with Apple. I say with Apple, I missed 2 months of payments. I'm in 60-day late. But over here at American Express, I've been paying them on time. I pay my balance off every month. I'm just a stellar customer to American Express, but I'm a terrible customer over here at Apple. Now, American Express will soft pull your credit. All lenders will soft pull your credit anytime they want to. They have annual reviews, but anytime they feel like you might be in a hardship, they will pull your credit behind the scenes. And they can't do a hard pull without your permission, because that can actually impact your credit score. They can't do that, but they can soft pull you all day long, every day of the week if they want to see what you got going on with your other lenders, with your other creditors, right? So if American Express see me over here doing wrong with Apple, they can take away my credit limit. They can close my card. Or what they can do, if I am carrying a balance over there, they could give me whatever their default penalty interest is, whatever that is. So you could have an 850 credit score and say over here at Apple, you forgot and did not set your payment up on auto pay and you got a 30-day late, 130-day late. Guess what they're going to do over here? Amex going to think that you are in financial trouble. So they might even close out your limit. They could close out your card and say, hey, you owe me whatever money you owe me right now. Right? Or they can give you whatever their default penalty interest is, which usually is like 29%. So you may have the best credit and got like 18% or something like that. But if you are late somewhere else and they see it when they soft pull you, guess what they're going to do? They're going to affect you over here because of what you did over here, right? So that's how you get credit limit increases as well. Before any lender give you a credit limit increase, especially automatic credit limit increase, they're going to check your credit first to make sure that your credit worthy to get that increase, or do I need to be decreasing it? Okay. So they're always constantly checking. So that's why I tell you guys to check your detailed credit profile on annualcreditreport.com, because you'll see all who've been soft pulling you. It's right on your detailed credit report. You're not going to see that on Credit Karma. You're not going to see that in most of these apps. You're not going to even see it on Experian app or the MyFICO app. But you will see it if you pull your detailed credit report. You will see every company, whether they was trying to send you one of those mailers in the mail, trying to get you to apply for a card. You'll be able to see who pre-screens you for credit. Okay, you will be able to see who you already have an account with if they looked at your credit. You may see all that on your detailed credit profile. That's why it's so important for you to check it. That's why it's so important for you to check it. All right. So make sure that you are paying your balances off every month. And like I said, if you can't, pay it more often. And the main thing is, don't charge more than you can afford to pay back. And like I said, I understand a lot of people are using their credit cards right now and personal loans to bridge the income gap because of where we at right now. So I understand all that, but just keep it in mind to do your best to not be late. Do your best to keep your credit utilization as low as possible, especially if you know in the next year or so you're going to want to buy a house, or you're going to want to get a car, or you want to get some real big ticket item that may take years to pay it back. And you want to get the best interest rate that you can possibly get, because you don't want to have a car loan with a high interest rate, especially if you don't have another car, right? And you got to have some reliable transportation to get to your job or whatever it is. You need reliable transportation. Okay. So if you got to get those big ticket items, it will behoove you really to make sure that you keep these payments on time for the creditors that you do have, and keeping the credit card utilization in your other loans, paying those loans down. Because credit utilization, I want you to think it's just credit cards. Credit utilization is also your installment loans, because loans, when you first get them, they're going to have this high balance, but they should come down over time. Even a mortgage is going to come down over time, but a mortgage is way different than the other installment loans, right? Because we know that mortgages are usually 15 years or more. And FICO knows that too. That's why some people get a mortgage and their credit go up, because that's a different credit mix. Okay. Mortgages are a lot different than other installment loans. So when you got a personal loan, you got a car loan, those loans, even your student loans, should be coming down. That's also calculated a part of your utilization. It's just not the same as the credit card. Okay. I talked about this in another video as well. All right. So number 3, you definitely want to hold off on applying for new credit unless it's absolutely necessary, because with 10T, it's going to be looking at your finances. So the more new credit that you are applying for, it's going to send up red flag city. You're going to look very risky. Okay. So make sure that you are only applying for credit that is absolutely necessary. If this is implemented, it's going to be a big deal, because like I said, this FICO 10T is designed to make sure that your finances is on track, and that's something that is not weighted in the current versions. Your finances is not weighted. But as I was saying, we're thinking about this thing logically. Logically, if your finances is good, you're not going to be late on your payments. You're not going to have your credit cards maxed out, and you're not going to be out there trying to get a loan from everybody or a credit card from everybody, right? Those are risky looking things, risky looking behaviors, right? So that's what 10T is looking at. Risky looking behaviors, right? And so you got to make sure that what you're applying for is absolutely necessary. Okay. Number 4, you want to keep older credit counts open as long as you can. So I talked about I don't know if you guys saw it, but my Capital One video, I talked about the Capital One. You know, they sent me the letter because my Walmart credit card is going to a Quicksilver card, and I already got a Quicksilver card, right? I can't close that account though because I've had that credit card since 2014. It's very weighted into my credit score. I want to close it because I'm tired of Capital One. I want to close every card I got with Capital One to keep it 100. I want to cut the whole tie, but I can't because I got those cards when my credit was in the probably like 620s, right? Back in 2014. Even that Amazon store card that I was telling you guys about, that I got it before those, So those cards are weighted heavily into my credit score. So if I close those cards, my credit score is going to go down tremendously because length of history factors in number 3 when we're talking about the credit categories. I got my chart back here. You got I probably can't see this, but you got your payment history. It counts for 35%. We know that. Your total debt, which is your credit utilization, it counts for 30%. You got your length of history that counts for 15%, right? So length of history, how long have you had credit? That equals 82.5 points. I just actually put that in the Credit Ready program today as our credit trivia question, because I put a credit trivia question in the Credit Ready program every single day. And that was the question I put in today. How many points does the length of credit history give you? 82.5 points. So if any of my CRP members are in here, I just gave you the answer, 5 points. Because what Fico does, Fico gives you 300 points. You come up with the other 550, right? So you want to get all the points you can for each category. So we got category payment history, category your credit utilization, category length of history, category new or recent credit, category the types of credit. So you got 10% new credit, 10% the type of credit, the credit mix. What kind of gumbo you got up in your credit, right? You got personal loans, you got credit cards, you got mortgages. That's your credit gumbo, right? So you want to make sure that in the length of history that you're getting all those points too. So payment history, you get 192.5 points for the payment history. So if you've always paid your payments on time, you're going to be maxing out that category. That's almost 200 points right there, right? Or the 550 that you have to come up with. Then your credit utilization, that's 165 points. So now you got 192.5 plus 165. Then when you put the length of history together, that's another 82.5 points. Okay, so that's a lot of points. Let me see, where my calculator at? Because I don't know it offhand what that is. So we put 192.5 plus 165 plus 82.5. So just those 3 categories is 440 points. And like I told you, FICO gives you 300 and you come up with the other 550. That's how you get a perfect 850. So if you got all 3 of those categories straight, payment history, credit utilization, length of history, that's 440 points plus 300. Ding, 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 you got a 740. You got a 740 just in those 3 categories, right? 10T is going to be looking at that. That's why the top 3 are very important with 10T. Very important because it's going to be looking at that data for 2 years. It's going to constantly be looking at what you got going on 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, constantly looking at it. So that's why that's important. The longer your history of paying your bills in a timely manner and maintaining those low balances and keeping your older accounts as long as you can is going to make sure that you maximize each one of those categories, and it's going to also make sure that you do not look risky. Okay. Now, new credit, that's 55 points. And the mix of credit, that's another 55 points. Okay. So that's how you come up with your 550. So that's why it's so important, guys. That's why it's so important. Especially if you know that you are going to be trying to get certain things in the future. That's what the credit ready program is. It's all about you guys being ready when your credit is absolutely necessary. That's what I talk about all the time. That's what I talk about. So it's nothing to fear. You can, whatever you got going on right now, you can turn it around, because like I said, I feel like we're still gonna have time, because these banks is not going to be implementing this unless they absolutely have to. But with the FICO 10T and the Vantage 4.0, with Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae being the big dogs with the mortgage lending, I can see them really trying to push them to go to that model and get away from the FICO 2, 4, and 5, because those are very old models. So that's really what is going to matter. What it's going to really come down to, I feel like, is the mortgage part of it. I think the mortgage part of it is going to implement the 10T way before the other lending, way before personal loan, credit cards, and any other type of installments. I feel like they're going to be the last one to jump on that. I feel like mortgages will be the first one. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. So, guys, whew, I'm still on meds for my sinuses, so I got to eat and take my medicine. So, with that being said, let me see what's going on in the chat. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Hold on, let's say so. Marjorie said, Utah is horrible for this. The same houses that were built in 2000 are going for $500,000 here. It's sickening. It's terrible. The housing market is terrible. And I don't get into politics, but I really hope that whoever wins this thing, that's what they need to be looking at, is trying to get this economy back on track and try to get this housing market. There's too many people now that has just given up on being homeowners. Like the American dream just feel like it is so total out of reach for so many different people. You know, my son is 23 years old. He don't think he'll be able to get a home. And there's so many other with Gen Z and millennials, whatever, that might just be graduating college and stuff. And they just don't feel like they're going to be able to do it. It's so many people that living in tiny homes or thinking about living in RVs and vans. And it's wild. It's really wild. And rent is so crazy, you know. And that's one of the things that people tell you all the time, you know, it's cheaper to buy than to rent. I can't tell right now. Because these rents, good grief, it's rent around here that, I mean, the mortgages is running even worse because of the interest rates. So I can't tell that it's cheaper to rent. I mean, it's cheaper to buy. I can't tell right now. I'm sorry, I can't tell. I swear I can't tell. Let's see, who else? I was told that closing card doesn't affect your credit score. It still ages. That's a lie. That's a lie. Okay. You want a credit card is a revolving line of credit that you can have forever and a day. You want to keep your accounts open, that you still have good activity on. You still want to do that. If it wasn't a thing, why would FICO tell you not to do it? How long you've had an account or a loan? The accounts for 15% of your FICO score, which is 82.5 points that I told you. So why would they tell you how long? Okay. You notice that when you pay a car off or you pay any type of installment loan off, your credit score drops because you're going to lose it. You may rebound at some time, but why would you take that chance with FICO 10T when you can keep those revolving lines of credit that you can have forever, that can be real weighted in your credit score? If it didn't matter, they wouldn't tell you to have at least 2 years worth of history, of credit history, if it didn't matter. The longer your history, the more weighted it is in your credit score, the stronger your credit score is. So if you do take a dip in your types of credit, or if you have too many inquiries, then you have another part in here that helps outweigh that, especially right here with the new recent credit and the length of credit history. The more new credit you get, you lower your average age of credit. So the longer you keep a card active on your credit report, that helps your average age of credit. That's going to help your score rebound faster when you take out a new loan or a new credit card, because your average age of credit will not take a big hit, because every time you put a new card in, it's averaging a new age. So that's why you want those accounts to stay open as long as you can. That's why. And a lot of people that are spewing that nonsense and telling you, oh, you can close them if you want to. Well, obviously they ain't went on Fico and read anything when it comes to the Fico score, because it's right there on their website telling you not to do it. And who I'm gonna believe? The people that actually create the score, or some dude over there that don't know what the hell he talking about? He ain't made nothing. That's just my y'all know I'm a little too passionate sometimes when it comes to credit. You welcome, baby. That's my girl right there. You welcome. All right. Where we at? Thank you, Star. Great information. I appreciate you. 100 with prayer hands. Let's see. Gold Coastal. I've never closed in my credit card. I open error. Right. I mean, why? Why? I got every Capital One card I don't use it that much. I got one that I keep my Hulu subscription on. The other ones are in the drawer, right? My husband got one that he keeps his YouTube premium subscription on. That keeps that one active. And the other one, I take it out every now and then. I go swipe it every 2 months at one of these stores for like $10, and then I put it back in the drawer. I pay it back off just to keep it open, because I've had them for so long. It's not an inconvenience to me to, do that, because I know it's going to help keep my credit score, and it's still things I need with my credit. Now, if I didn't need my credit, I'd close all of them. But if you know you're still going to need your credit, then you want to do everything you can to maximize those different categories that I'm talking about right here. You want to do everything that you can to maximize those different categories. Now, if you're not going to use your credit, don't none of this matter. You can be like Dave Ramsey and don't use credit, and if you don't use credit, eventually they don't continue to they won't calculate it no more, and they think that if you don't use credit, you probably dead. So eventually they'll probably think you're dead if you never use credit again, like Dave Ramsey. If you don't never use credit again. I love Dave Ramsey, but he don't use credit. So he ain't used credit in over 20 years. They probably think you're dead. He ain't even got a score, right? Because that's what all the credit score do. It just tells you how good you are with debt. So if you don't need to buy anything on credit, you do not have to do none of this stuff. You don't have to do none of it. You want to always pay your bills on time because of the integrity, but you can match your cards out if you want to. The statement date don't matter. None of that. Credit utilization don't matter if you ain't trying to apply for nothing. It really don't. It doesn't matter. You can max them out, pay them off, do whatever. It doesn't matter, right? Like I said, you always want to pay your bills on time. Like I said, integrity. You don't want to go around owing everybody. And closing accounts. If you're not trying to apply for anything and you don't matter, it doesn't matter if your credit score is going to take a hit or a dip or whatever, close them. But if you know that you're going to be using your credit for whatever it is, then it behooves you to keep it open. That's it. It's not hard. And see, what a messed up system. It's going backwards instead of forward, which would put us in the economic position to move towards economic prosperity. Girl. That's why it's important that we learn the system. That's why it's important that we learn everything we can on financial literacy as people of our hue. Okay. That's why it's so important. Jennifer Goodwin. Hi, Star. I love your channel. I appreciate it. I love you back. I appreciate it. Let's see. We got Gold Coastal. Exactly. Let's see where we at. I have Credit One and First Premier Bank cards since 1999, and I want to close them high. Yeah, I know you do. I did a video on them. They're the worst credit cards you can have in your wallet. But if they're weighted on your credit score because you've had it since 1999, what are you going to do? Like I said, if you're not trying to buy anything and if you got everything you need and you don't need credit anymore, then yeah, you can close those accounts all day long. It's just, what are you trying to do with your credit? That's what it's gonna boil down to. What are you trying to do with your credit? Because if you do need to do some borrowing, you need to be ready. You need to be ready for those times. Not, oh, I want to buy a home now. I gotta hurry up and try to get my credit straight. No, we try to keep that on point all the time, 365 days of the year. Okay, especially if you know you're gonna have these life event things that you're trying to do. Buy a house, get a better car, whatever it is you're trying to do. Right? That's what it is. Finance a business. Credit is not just personal. You might want to go into business for yourself and want to get a business loan to leave your job and do your dream. Okay. Credit has a lot of great reasons for us in our life that can help us, but we have to do the right thing so that when those times come up in our life, we're able to do those things and we're not held back by a 10T and any other model, right? It is not going to hold us back. We're going to be ready. We're going to do everything we're supposed to do right now to make sure that it don't matter what model they come out with. We good. We ready. That's what it's about. All right, let's see here. Let's see, one more. Where we at? Do you teach a class at a university or community college at Star? Because you were amazing. No, I don't teach nowhere. Just here on YouTube. Just here on YouTube. And I got my credit ready program. So if you want to join the credit ready program, it's right there. That QR code right here off the side that says join the credit ready community for $5 a month. We do a book of the month. Every month we've been doing a book a month since January, so we do that. I do a discussion about that. Now I missed this past Sunday we were supposed to have a discussion, but oh my god, my sinuses was kicking my butt and I had to get some medication. I was telling you guys I got to eat now because I had to take a meds. But yeah, other than that, and I run my own business. I have my handmade store, so I do that, and I'm on here teaching you guys on YouTube. That's it. I'm on here teaching you guys on YouTube. Let's see. $1 zillion grind entertainment. What do you do? Yep, that's what I do. I teach here on YouTube. I try to bring financial literacy. My experience was from banking, because I worked in banking for 15 years from 2007 when I graduated with my accounting and business degree. I went to work in a credit union as a part-time teller, and from there I worked my way up. And my last role, I worked in a traditional bank, and I worked in the electronic banking department of that, where I handled fraud cases. I handled disputes. Anything doing with electronic banking, that's what I did in my last role at the bank. So online banking, fraud, debit card fraud. Well, I was telling the guys in the live I did last night, Cash App, any of those type of things. I handled all that type of fraud and stuff like that. Yo, what's up, DJ Milk 35? Do you know anything about Navy Federal? Honey, you need to go on my playlist. I got a whole playlist of nothing but Navy Fed videos. That's how a lot of people met me, was through doing Navy Fed videos last year in 2023. Honey, you got to get into my playlist. Go on my main part of my channel and go to my playlist, and you see my Navy Fed playlist. I probably got over 20 videos of Navy Fed up in there. I am burnt out from talking about Navy Fed. Yes, sir. All right, guys. Do y'all got any more questions? I've been on here an hour and 23 minutes. I got to eat. It's going on 7 o'clock here where I'm at. But I hope I shed some light on the FICO 10 and the FICO 10T. If you have any other questions, you guys, y'all can hit me up. I can go on my website at starcarter.com. You also can join the Credit Ready program, $5 a month. Easy peasy. You can come on in. I give a trivia question every day. That's what we've been doing since last month. We also got our book of the month. Our book that we read now, it's in the living room, but we read in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's what we're reading for this month. Sparkle City taking notes. Are you up in Spartanburg? When you say Sparkle City, are you in Spartanburg, South Carolina? Are you up the road from me? Let me find out. If I for hire, if you go on my website, go to starcard.com and click on the work for me tab. Also, do you do consultation? How much? If you go on my website at starcard.com and click on the work for me tab, all the information is right there for you guys. You can book your consultation from that page. You just go to starcarter.com. Or if you can scan the QR code in the top, it'll take you to my website as well. I hope you guys learn something about, all these different things. I don't want you guys to look at, when we do these videos, we be a little dramatic on the thumbnail because we want y'all to actually click in and look. But I hope I ease a lot of tension about it. I don't feel like it's going to be something that's going to be implemented right now, but I'm not going to say that it's not going to come in the future. Okay. Because like I said, these are different businesses. You got the 3 credit bureaus. They are different business from Fico. They own Vantage. Okay. They own Vantage. And Vantage been around since like 2006. So this is not new. But like I said, a lot of these banks are not going to be quick to change their model because it costs them a lot of money to do that. All right. Up there in Spartanburg. Yes, you're not too far from me. It's been raining here too. I'm on the other side of Greenville, where I live at. I'm on the other side of Greenville, so it's been raining here as well. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Like I said, I need to eat. I'm about to starve. I need to eat. And I appreciate you guys so much for joining me this afternoon. Make sure you share this with other people. I really do appreciate you guys. I really do, really do. So much love. I appreciate you. Great live stream star. Love your videos. Thank you so much. I sure appreciate you. I really do. Y'all just don't know how much I appreciate y'all, every last one of y'all, for tuning in, because y'all could be doing so much other stuff than listening to me. You really could be. So that's why I'm very, very grateful. So thank you guys again. And if you have any questions or any comments, anything, y'all can keep on posting it, of course, on there. Any information that y'all need from me will be in the description box of this video. So y'all be safe, take care, and I will see you tomorrow night. I'm coming back again with another live with some more scamming that's going out. Some more scamming. So make sure y'all cut y'all notification on. Y'all go on my page. Y'all see what that video is going to be about tomorrow night. So I'm going to be back. I think tomorrow is at 7 o'clock. So we're going to chat it up again tomorrow night. So I see you tomorrow, hopefully. Y'all be safe. Love you for real. Peace.